You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. I am in East Tennessee. Whew, man, halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville on Watts Bar Lake, where my family has a lake house. And it's 4th of July weekend, so it's a little crazy out there on the lake this week. But it's a huge lake, and it's like a mile across. It's pretty awesome. And we are going to talk a little bit about being here at the lake, things that are going on, and then also have a little bit of triathlon news. And then also we have a really cool interview with Tina and Ann. And Tina, they're a duo in triathlon, and Tina is blind, and she is she's going to race Kona, and Ann is going to be her guide. You know, where they're attached together with a bungee cord on the swim, and riding the tandem on the bike, and I'm not sure how they're staying together on the run. I've done a half marathon helping a blind lady that was really cool one time, and we tied our wrists together with a string, and that was pretty cool. So it's a really cool interview, and they've actually been on a couple other shows already talking about this, and it's just more of the story, and it's so interesting and so motivational to hear people doing this kind of thing. And I guess before we get into the news, I'll tell you a little bit more about where I am. We're in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. It's really vertical where I'm at. The lake house is on a bluff overlooking the water, and it's the Tennessee River is what made the lake, and the Watts Bar Dam is what made the lake. But I grew up coming here all the time as a kid, and I actually grew up in the southeast, Tennessee, Alabama stuff, and this is kind of like home to me. It's thick forest, really hilly, even to mountainous, really lush, rains a lot, not too hot, although it does get pretty warm sometimes, and not too cold, even though it snows, and it's just perfect. It's like the most beautiful place in the world. And you can hear, I'm walking on a gravel road, and this is the loop that the house is on. And I went running this morning, and I ran for an hour and covered 5.6 miles and went over 720 something feet vertical elevation gain around here. It's crazy. We often talk about having a triathlon camp out here, but it's so challenging, and so it's kind of remote. It's an hour and 15 minutes from any airport, from Knoxville and from Chattanooga. But I don't know, maybe people would be into that. But let's see. I ran this morning, and then what was the other thing I did? I swam this morning as well to the island, and it's almost a mile, so I swam there and back. I got my brother to drive the boat while Kai and Emily and my brother's son, my nephew, all hung out in the boat, and I swam there, and when we got to the island, there's a little beach. It's only like 100 feet across because it's an island, it's just not much there, and there's two other boats and all these kids and like dogs, two dogs. And what's really cool about that island is there's old Indian burial mounds on it. So we talk about it being haunted all the time. And we talk about this house being the whole woods out here. I grew up with my grandparents telling me there's trolls everywhere. It's really cool. But like right now I'm looking at deep forest. Oh, there's caves everywhere. And like the embankment on the road is taller than I am. It's like 10, 12 feet up, and it's covered in ferns. So if you're a fan of like where the red fern grows, things like that, this is the kind of place that we're in. It's really magical. But the lake has actually got a lot of traffic on it. You might hear a little bit of boat traffic as I walk down. In fact, last night was 4th of July fireworks, and I tried to record the intro to the podcast back then, and I successfully recorded it, but it was so loud with the tree frogs and the cicadas and the boats and the fireworks that I'm not going to use it as the official intro, but I thought you'd like to hear it. Let's play it. Here you go. Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. We are in East Tennessee, halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville on Watts Bar Lake at my grandparents' old lake house. And it's the night of the 4th of July. And you can hear the tree frogs going because we're in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains on this big, beautiful lake. And you can hear the fireworks from the... All right, how about that? It's a little wild, man. It's a lot of noise for a secluded place. It really is secluded, super secluded most of the time. It's lovely. And oh, here goes a car. You get like 10 cars a day. Oh, it's just the mailman. And I also want to say that along with all the fun and the news and the everything, the music I'm using this week is Biba by Biba by Panty Raid, which is a funny name for a band, and it's really cool music. So if you like it and you want to go get it, that's what it is. I got mine off Amazon. All right, well, with all that, let's get started with the news. All right, we are down at the waterfront. You can hear the waves splashing into the rocks, maybe, and off to my left, I can see mountains up, kind of aiming towards Knoxville a little bit. And in front of me, the lake, and then, it's 2 miles away, the far, far shore, maybe 3 miles, something like that. It's a huge, huge lake. Anyway, it's like 68 miles long or something. It's really big. Let's go ahead and cover some of the news. Let's see what we got here. Let's do the funny one first. Sony has decided to try attaching cams, their own version of the GoPro, and to sheep for the Tour de France. And I'm not sure where along the course this is going to happen, but if you Google Sony sheep Tour de France camera, then and video in there, you'll find an update about it and what's going on. And the tour just started today. And then I'm watching right now. The speedboat is pulling Emily on an inner tube behind them, right in front of the dock. Well, kind of far out. So, and Emily's trying to sit on it to see what happens instead of laying on it. She's screaming. I think she's shaking her head. I can't tell. And Kai and Hudson, my nephew, are in the boat with them. It's pretty funny. And hold on, this is really distracting. This is outrageous looking. Let's see if she falls off. Anyway, so I don't know if this is really gonna work with the sheep thing. Watch the tour and see. Emily's screaming. Watch the tour and see what happens. And with all this, oh man, the Tour de France. Yeah, it's just started today, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Also, Leanda Cave got disqualified at Ironman France. And actually, I forgot to mention, you can catch a whole lot more detailed news for this week over at Endurance Planet. I'm on the Endurance Planet podcast with Tawny, and I did the multi-sport news with her. It was pretty good. And yeah, Leanda Cave didn't wear her bike number on the bike, and didn't wear a number while on the bike, and that's an automatic DQ from the race, so that really sucks. And more ammo for the argument to consolidate rules on triathlon across the world so that we don't have these silly problems with different rules and people getting disqualified for something that doesn't really affect anything. Okay, I noticed that Macca was in Houston, for a set of meetings. He posted on Twitter, "Here I am in Houston in some meetings," and he was in an office building in a skyscraper in the kind of near the downtown area. And the thing that crossed my mind was, what's he doing in Houston doing meetings, you know? And he's a huge deal with Challenge, which is an Ironman brand competitor. And it made me wonder, is Challenge going to be bringing a race to the Houston area? And if so, when would they have it? Where would they have it? Right? That'd be pretty cool, right? Anyway, there was that. And then also the biggest news that I've come across that's really going to affect pretty much every triathlete, every guy triathlete, is the news that Specialized did wind tunnel testing on shaved versus non-shaved legs, and they did a pretty good test. And with a fair enough amount of samples and using the correct measuring techniques, that it basically was somewhere like a minute to a minute and a half per 40K. So what is that? 5K is 30 miles, so 20 miles maybe, something like that, 22 miles for a 40K. Anyway, it's a big deal. It's something like, I would say, that's somewhere around 10 watts, maybe 5 to 15 watts, somewhere in that range, depending on how hairy you are. And I've been a hairy leg triathlete for a long time, and because I don't do the leg massage thing, and I don't crash all that much. It's pretty safe where I ride. I'm really used to the route, so I don't like to ride in dangerous stuff. So I don't wreck all that often. So I've just left my legs hairy and thought, whatever. And no, it's not whatever. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So over an Ironman, you're talking you're talking 5-6 minutes, man. I mean, theoretically, maybe. And this is something easy to do. And the other thing is, we often get kind of kludgy with our mindset. Things have to be all one way or all the other. No, Zen is appropriate response. So what you could do is say, just shave for the races, and leave your legs hairy, and for training. And in fact, because it does make such a big difference, maybe we'll start with a culture of leaving legs hairy for training and then shaving them for race day, and that's the cool thing to do, Anyway, that'd be pretty freaking neat. I'm not even big into shaving my legs for all the way with a razor. I'd just shave them with with clippers, far all the way down. Maybe that'll do it. I don't get all into the shaving thing. All right. But anyway, that's the news. Now I'm looking out. There's 3 pontoon boats pulling people on tubes in my area of vision over here. It's pretty cool. All right. And I feel like that pretty soon we're going to get some people coming back across. Let's go ahead and start with our interview with Tina and Ann. And they were actually, when we recorded this interview, they were about to go do Challenge Atlantic City, and they did do Challenge Atlantic City. I got an email update from them saying they did a really good race. Everything went fine. So Kona is on. It's looking good. So keep that in mind when you're listening to this interview. And let's catch up a little bit after they're done. Okay, here we go.
Hi there, Tina. Hang on one second. Hey, Fred, are you there?
I'm here. Are y'all there?
Yes, yep. Tina's on the line.
Is that Tina?
This is me.
All right, cool. I can hear you both just fine, I think.
Good.
Cool.
Now you can hit record.
Okay.
So Tina, wait. Edit that out.
Edit that out.
Tina, so at the end, we'll edit all of that. at the very end, we will pretend to hang up, say goodbye, but don't actually hang up, stay on the line, and then he'll stop recording, and then we can chat some more.
Oh, okay.
Is that cool?
All right, ready?
Ready,
Take one.
set, go. All right, I'm here with Tina Ament. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And Ann, how do you say your last name, Coach Ann?
Oh, I knew that was going to trip you up.
Yeah.
Yes, Coach Ann. And Tilgis.
Tilgis. I know, Thilgies.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I was going for.
No.
Tilgis.
Well, and the guys on I Am Talk, they say my name every now and then, and every time they say my name, they say it totally differently. So it's Tilgis.
Okay. Well, cool. And you are on the show because this is a really interesting story. Tina is blind, and Ann helps her out in triathlons. You've done 2 so far together, or how many?
That's right. Ann's guided for 2 of my triathlons, a sprint distance and Ironman Florida.
And this is so cool. Tina got a lottery spot to Kona, so this will be the first ever female. What is it called? Is it dual? I'm struggling with the words to describe it. This is so cool.
No,
so
it's so new that there probably perhaps isn't officially a word.
Yeah, we're going to coin it. So female.
So I'll be the first American blind woman to do Kona, and the first blind woman, as far as I know, to do Kona with a female guide.
Oh, cool. All right. This is crazy. I've actually helped somebody that was blind run a half marathon, and it was so entertaining actually for the both of us because.
Well, tell us how did you get connected with that person?
I put on a triathlon camp, and she came to the camp, and so other coaches at the camp rode a tandem with her. And she's from New York as well, and she called me about a year after the camp and said she wanted to come run the half marathon that was here in my town, and that would I guide her through the half marathon? And I said absolutely, I'd love to. And the funny part of the story was she said. Well, as we got ready, there was a string that she tied between my wrist and hers. And I said, so is this going to help you? And she goes, no, it's not really for me so much as it's to tell other people that we're connected.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And
yes, that's what I tell Tina. We always have to be dressed alike and so forth because people need to know that we're together. They need to know that they can't come between us.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
I have had people when I've been out on the trail running, because I use a bungee cord that we hold at the wrist, just like you're talking about.
Right.
And one kid ran past us and asked my guide if he was arresting me.
He said, "Yes, I've been very bad." Yeah. Okay, so.
But it's interesting what you say. It's interesting what you say about how you connected, and the reason I asked that question is because that's the one thing that has interested me is that the connections that we make, me as a guide, and I think Tina, Ian as a blind person, and all of these connections seem to be very informal. Just,
right.
Kind of through someone that they know or through reaching out. And so, because people are always asking me, they'll tell me, I want to be a guide. How do I be a guide? And that's the one thing that is always on my mind. How can we try to connect more of these people who want to be guides with people who want to be more active? So.
Yeah, I really recommend it to people. It's a ton of fun, and it's a challenge all in its own. It's a different kind of challenge. And on my wall at work, I have a picture of me, doing an Ironman, and my hands over my head. And then my other picture I have up is of me guiding that woman through a half marathon. To me, they were both like one of the high points of my life to be able to help somebody out do something like that. You know. So how did you two meet?
And that brings.
We met through a mutual friend who is one of the co-directors of Team Red, White, and Blue.
Yeah.
So she actually, and I had met her earlier through the See Different Foundation, which is a group that actually works to pair blind triathletes with guides and resources, and that's one place that I would encourage people to look into if they're looking to get into guiding. Them and Achilles International are two organizations that already exist, and that they're somewhat informal, but they do try to help people as far as resources, explaining even how you would do a triathlon. I remember asking, I don't understand how you could possibly do the swim when I first talked to somebody from See Different.
Yeah, I got so many questions. And then also
they sort of find people all over the country who might be able to guide. If you say, well, I'm from, Santa Cruz, California, is there anybody in my area? They would know if there was somebody who'd ever talked to them who they might be able to pair you up with. So that's how I met Carolyn, and then through Carolyn, who lived in New York City, I met Ann.
So it's like
and I want to give I'd like to give a shout out to it's Carolyn Gaynor, and she's very, very active with the Team Red, White, and Blue, Team RWB, which is growing by leaps and bounds right now.
Yeah, it's very popular too.
Carolyn is just so active. She's such a recruiter, and she's just recruiting so many people of all different types into the sport. And so, and in fact, just today she guided another blind athlete, Amy Dixon, in a sprint race in Texas. And so, it's really starting to grow, and it's really exciting right now.
Yeah.
Carolyn's also guided 3 different blind athletes in Ironman races.
Oh wow. The run, I can see how that, how that worked, because I've done it. Although I had to be coached, and I could see, I had to be talked, down from like, there's no way that we can do this, to like, no, it's no big deal at all. And then one time, it was really funny. One time I got distracted and she tripped, but she didn't fall. But and then, because I've never done it before, and I got caught up in the race, and I was like looking at something, and she tripped over like a pebble or something, or a little pothole, and then that was it though. And then on the bike, I can see, it's a tandem, and I could see how that isn't too much of a problem or difficult. But then, the swim. How do you do the swim? Does somebody talk to you, or what?
Well, I have a swim tether that so far the one I've been using, we tie it around our waists, and then it has a couple feet of line in between, and then it'll stretch. So if we start to get separated, it'll pull me back into the direction where the guide is. The only problem with it is if you have guides of really disparate height, or if the guide gets like fired up and starts to swim ahead, which I've had some particularly people who've been competitive swimmers before. If we get into open water and they see it's a race, and they just start swimming, and suddenly they're so far ahead of me that the bungee's at an angle, and then I can't even get like the arm out of the water that's on that side. So I think Ann and I are going to try and experiment with one that ties around your legs instead of your waist, and see if that works a little bit better to avoid some of the entanglement problems. And of course, the other issue is that swimmers will try to come between you. I did a triathlon yesterday, and everybody wanted to swim between us. It was a really, really crowded swim course, and people would look and they'd see a hole, and they would start to come, and you're having to lift up your head and go, no, you can't go there. You really don't want to go there? No. And
well, I was just swimming with my son in a lake, and we tied some parachute cord to his ankle, and then a floating keychain thing to the end of that, and in case he went under, so I could just grab something and pull him back up, because you can't see in this lake. There's no visibility at all. And we were laughing about how it was just a hacked together, method for for watching over your child. And but
I'm picturing this, and I'm picturing Kai going under, and you just grabbing him by the ankle. How big was this floaty that was on his ankle?
Yeah, and so one time I let him get in front of me, and then I pulled on the string, it pulled him backwards, and he laughed and stuff, and he said it got caught around his legs some, but not that bad, And I could see like if you did around the foot or around the knee or something like that, you could feel if somebody's kind of pulling away, but it wouldn't get caught.
Yeah,
like you're saying, not caught up in your arms.
Yeah, we're going to try it around our thigh.
Yeah.
The question is whether it will slip down our leg or not. So we're going to try that before Kona, we actually were going to do the Challenge Atlantic City, which is at the end of June. So that's the full iron distance.
Right.
It's the new challenge race. And we've got a little practicing to do before that race, and then that's going to prepare us for Kona for sure.
So they make
and I think they have a swim practice every day for that one leading up to the race. So if we can rig up some new kind of a tether, we can give it a try on the swim practice and see how it goes. And I'll take the old one as a backup.
But there's talking about the swim. There's one thing that I wanted to make a comment on, because it makes me think of every triathlete. Not every, many triathletes. They kind of moan about, oh, my swim could be so much better. I just can't swim in a straight line, yada yada yada. And I just want to let everyone know that Tina can swim in a very straight line. When I swim with her, I don't have to pull or call out to her at all. She swims in a very straight line. So if Tina can do it blind, I don't know what all the other triathletes are moaning about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, people swim in the pool a lot. They get used to watching that black line and then not going by feel, And then so then when they get into open water where they can't see as well, they veer off and it takes practice. So Tina's got a lot of practice. Having to go straight by feel.
Not looking at the black line.
Yeah, you got a lot of practice with that.
Yeah, well, I just sort of hug the lane line in the pool. Yeah. So even if there's no one else in my lane, I'll usually swim circles, so I'm hugging the lane line on my left-hand side or whatever, so that I know that I'm going in a straight line. So hopefully that just gets me attuned to swimming straight.
Yeah.
And then translates better into the open water.
So, Tina, how many years have you been doing triathlon stuff?
I've been doing tri since 2010, and I did my first Ironman in 2011.
Wow, you hopped right up to the big distance. So.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is I'm on a tri club where a lot of the people do Ironmans, and so once I sort of gotten into listening to them all chatter about it, it was sort of, well, all the other kids are doing it, I guess I will. And I went down and did. There's a race in North Carolina called Beach to Battleship that's an iron distance race,
right.
And they have a relay. So I went down and did the swim part of the relay to convince myself that I could actually finish an Ironman swim before I would sign up for one. I was decided, if I really can't get through that, then maybe it's not a good idea. And that went okay. And so I thought, okay, well, I've run marathons already, and I've ridden a ZenTri ride, so I guess I can do an Ironman.
Yeah. On the what do you do on the bike when you ride tandem? How are those bikes engineered? Do you both get to give the same amount of effort, and that's okay within the rules, or does one person have to just steer while the other person pedals or something? I don't know how it works.
I wish that was the case. I'd stick my feet up and let Tina do all the pedaling.
You just have pegs and you just ride.
Perfect. I love it. I'll just steer. Tina, you pedal.
They our pedals are on the same they all work together, so we ride with the same cadence and hopefully the same amount of effort, although Anne's a good deal stronger cyclist than I am, so I'm sure that she ends up putting in more of it. But then she does the steering and the gearing, although I do know some partially blind athletes who switch their tandem so that they shift the gears in the back.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I can't see any point to that because I can't see anything, so I would always be late, having to be guided on when to shift. And by the time that you've given the command, you might be too late, like to get up a hill or something.
There's a hill coming up. Wait, not that big of a hill. way less of a.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so when you're out on the bike, how do you what is it like going by feel and like I know I used to ride a motorcycle a lot and also riding a bicycle. The difference between a car and being out exposed in the open, you can feel like so much more. You know, the temperatures change and the smells and like the sunshine. You know, and I used to run barefoot a lot, and there's a whole lot more going on that people have no idea. Like you can feel the pavement change heat. You know, like temperature from being exposed to the sun and not, and like the different textures and stuff. And so it's amazing. Like when you turn off one sense, like all the other things that you can feel. Like out on a bike ride, like what is like a 3, 4, 5 hour bike ride to you? Like are you totally enveloped in like the different temperatures and the which way the wind's blowing and the smells and everything, or what do you think of, or what do you feel like the whole time?
It kind of depends. If I'm in a race, then I'm kind of more worried about, I'm hoping to hear my guide be saying, on your left, a whole bunch of times, which means that we're passing other people.
Yeah.
And not hearing the cycle
Somebody
noise going by
it.
on the right, like especially the really noisy tri bikes that you can, you hear them coming. They're a mile away. They're sort of like snowboards on the ski mountain.
Right.
You hear them coming like long before they get near you.
Right.
And so that's and then of course most of my pilots will tell me if there's hills coming or whatever, and if it's a course I know, they might just have to say, oh well, here's the such and such a barn or or whatever. Uh-huh. But other than that, if we're just out over Memorial Day, I went and did a 50-mile ride out in the country in west of here, in horse country in Virginia.
Right.
And so she would say, oh look, it's cows, or we saw cows, we saw some horses. And we usually try to moo at the cows. Uh-huh. That's sort of a tradition with most of my pilots that we do.
I do the same thing.
And it is interesting, like you say, because if I do a course with loops and there's any kind of like horse barn on it or something, I'll remember, okay, this is the part that smells like the horse barn. That means we're this many miles away or this many miles in.
Cool. So you can do distance by smells. That's cool.
Exactly. Well, only if there's some convenient, smelly parts to notice.
Yeah, sure.
But and then different sounds too, or the smells if people are mowing their lawn. You get the great grass seed smell going by. Or I haven't gotten really good at if we're going at fairly decent speed. I'm not really good at assessing like what is the wind doing, because you're always getting some wind in your face just by virtue of moving forward, and so sometimes I'm not very good at saying, oh, it's a crosswind, or oh, it's this, or oh, it's that. But better get better at that for Kona. But it really is, since I spend so much time not being able to find pilots all the time, I spend a lot of time cycling on a trainer. Yeah. And then I just like throw on Pandora or episodes of Mad Men and and just like cruise along. Riding outside, the word that comes to my mind is freedom. It's just like being released from the stultifying parts of training.
Yeah, lots of people feel that way.
And
yeah.
I think Brett and I both probably could confer with you on that one. Because especially me in New York as well, all winter being on my trainer. Mm-hmm. Brett, you're in Texas. You probably don't ride the trainer nearly as much as we do.
Not as much.
Yes, finally being able to get outside, it's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, like I went for a ride this morning, and the freedom in that ride it's Sunday morning, so there weren't that many cars on the road. And so it was just nice to be able to ride on some roads that usually have to stay way over on the side, and then now I could kind of ride a little bit more in the lane. And it was just so nice. And like you were saying, like being able to take in all the surroundings and everything is really cool. So, yeah, it's nice to get outside and do that. Mm. I was coaching some kids on how to ride bikes the other day, and I called it the Freedom Machine. I said, this thing cuts the distance between you and your friend's house like by half. You can go see twice as many friends on your Freedom Machine. And they loved it. Yeah. Let's see. Well, were you born blind, or did you lose your vision over time, or what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear her.
I were never right, but we started out with a lot more vision as kids.
Yeah.
So it was a lot, particularly during the daytime. Like night has always been, complete, not seeing anything but light.
Right.
But when I was younger, I could definitely, I could see the black line on the pool when I was younger. Now I can't. So swimming as a kid, when we were swimming in an outside pool anyway, I could see the black line. Oh.
Yeah.
And, that sort of gradually faded away, and I've had to, figure out how to make accommodations for, to do whatever sports I want to do and stuff. And, I learned how to ski when I could see pretty much, but that was the first time I really had to get a guide, because even though I could see quite a bit, I couldn't see enough to go out on the ski slopes and not be a menace to everyone, including myself.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the first exposure I had to, para sports.
Yeah.
And then as time has gone by, I've, done more and more different kinds of things and learned about different adaptations for those. And the only sport that I kind of do on an equal footing with sighted athletes right now is rowing, because I can row in an 8-person or a 4-person shell, and it's just the same for me as it is for them.
Yeah. Do you do that a lot?
The coxswain does all the steering.
Do you like to?
I was a rower until 2004 or 2005, which was when I kind of transitioned into doing more running.
Uh-huh.
And so I used to go. We from March to November, we practiced every day and raced most weekends in the summer.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a really cool sport. A lot of people get into triathlon from rowing.
Yeah, well, the one thing about rowing is that it gives you an incredible layer of sort of just functional fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So when people transition from rowing into something else, I remember when I started running after rowing, I actually got myself injured because I was so fit from crew that I just thought that without any kind of background or base or anything, I could just go out and run like lots and lots and lots of miles.
Yeah.
And,
Swimmers are like that.
It takes a while to adapt your body to doing that kind of sport as opposed to just rowing all those miles or lifting weights to get yourself more fit.
Yeah, it's like you're a pair of lungs and a whole lot of muscle, but with structurally weak legs.
Exactly, and just no adaptation in your ligaments and joints and all that in your bones to go out and do 100%. Because rowing is not weight bearing. That's the one thing I will say about it. You're sitting on your butt.
Yeah. Okay, so how many times are you guys gonna train together before let's say before the Ironman in June?
I think we're just going to do that week, right? Because
at least in June, that's going to be our first time to be able to get together. And because I live in New York and Tina lives in Washington, D.C., so we kind of have to, so hopefully over the summer before Kona we'll be able to get together. But for the challenge race, we're just going to do a little training once we get there. So we have to do, it means we have to do more talking ahead of time, kind of making sure that we're coordinated on things, with voice commands on the bike, for example, stopping and starting and so forth, and just making sure we're on the same page. We just, we're just going to go out there and do it. But that's what we did on actually our very first triathlon together. Tina, didn't we just meet the day before for the first time?
Yes, we met the day before for the first time. We took the bike out to make sure that we had it fitted to you, and then we decided to ride, and then we got a flat almost instantaneously. So it was kind of good to be taking it out to ride because we could fix the flat that day.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's
the race. And so we rode maybe, a mile after we fixed the flat? Something like that?
I don't even think. We were riding around a parking lot is all. So we did a few laps around the parking lot then. So, we kind of just went for it because we didn't get much swimming either.
Yeah.
We did very, very little before that first triathlon. But you know what? And that's all part of the fun. Let's go out and do it.
So, for Kona, how long before that race are you going to show up there?
I think we're planning to show up about a week before, and then acclimate for that week, and hopefully do a lot of swimming, because I'm really looking forward to seeing the coffee boat. And,
yeah.
Be able to do some riding and some acclimating to the temperatures and some beach time.
Yeah.
Oh, and I haven't told Tina this, but I'm planning that the two of us are going out on stand-up paddle boards. I don't really know how Tina's going to do that. I presume she's never done it, but we're going.
I'm looking forward to it. That'll be great.
Tina, do you just have does it ever happen where people are just constantly dragging you out with them, so it can be your first time to do something crazy and like, hey, we're going to go do paddle boards, and you just have to deal with it?
Yeah, and so far I haven't figured anything that I won't try. In fact, I'm still looking for somebody who wants to go bungee jumping with me. That's the one thing I haven't done yet. Really crazy, stupid thing I haven't done yet. That's more because there really isn't any bungee jumping in my area, so you have to go out and look for it.
Yeah. We'll probably get my wife to go do that with you. She wants to go bungee jumping, and I won't go. I think it's crazy.
All right. We need to hook her up with Tina then, and the two of them can go bungee jumping.
She'd probably love it. She'd probably be like, yeah, let's do it. Well, cool. Let's see. So how many, both of you, I mean, you're both having to do Kona, so what's the training look like? Like, how many hours per week? Like, what do you focus on? What are your expected times? Since it'll be together?
I haven't actually really thought about expected times for Kona because I'll see how the challenge race goes and sort of probably try to work off that.
Yeah.
But until I actually get more of a sense of what the course is like, which I probably really won't get till we get out there and check it out. I think with Kona too, the weather is a big variable. How bad the winds are, how hot it is. My big goal in this is I really want to enjoy it because it may well be a once in a lifetime thing. I don't know if they're ever going to put a qualifying mechanism in for PC athletes other than wheelchair athletes, and I don't know how many times you can go back to the lottery well. I'm looking at this as, I may not ever make it back, and I don't want to waste this in a way on worrying about, how well or badly we're doing to the exclusion of having fun, because this is a chance of a lifetime, and something that, I feel so honored to have, because a lot of people I know who are like 3 and 4 times the triathlete I am in every way still haven't managed to make it there. And, so I don't want to go out and blow it on acting silly about, being either uber competitive or, worrying about if I don't some time goal or another, especially kind of not knowing what to expect. So, my big goal is I want to finish, I want to look good, and I'd love to get on the NBC coverage.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, I agree, right? You don't want to, gosh, imagine, you get all the way there, and then, you go too hard on the bike or something, and then you don't make a cutoff or something because you went too hard and then blew up or something. Right,
or even just if you're not having the day you want and you make the cutoffs, but you're just like, oh, this is, I don't want to be
miserable,
negative and frustrated. Yeah. That's my goal, is not to be negative and frustrated.
Yeah. So what kind of food do y'all eat for training?
Oh, and burrito bars, of course.
Oh, yeah? All right. That's good.
Yeah, no, well, truly, Brett, I started eating Amarita bars particularly because of you talking about them all the time, so I thought I would try them out, and I'm big on the whole chia seed thing. I put chia seeds in my smoothies and so forth, so I tried them. They're good. They are good, Amarita bars. So.
Yeah.
You're really a good ambassador for them.
Oh, thanks. Cool. I'll clip this out and send it to him.
I like to eat gel. There's a gels. I think they're called Homa.
Oh, Huma?
That have chia seeds in them.
Yeah,
those are really good.
What's your? I like the blueberry. What's your favorite flavor?
I only have had the apple, and applesauce is one of my favorite foods, and it's just like eating applesauce. So I love them.
Yeah, and the chia seeds add this kind of cool little texture to it. Is what I found out. I like it. The first time I ever took a bite, I was kind of it's kind of gritty, but then I got used to it instantly and liked it. So. Well,
Yeah,
cool.
it's good, and it's some omega-3 fats. So
Yeah.
for sure, and the whole the whole trend right now is to be fat adapted. So it's all good.
A little bit of fat in there. It's perfect. Yeah, I was looking at it. It's 100 calories, and 10 or 20 of those calories comes from the fat from the chia seed. So it's good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
cool.
otherwise, that's.
Am I missing
we're
anything?
Like every other triathlete.
Yeah. Just like everybody else, trying to figure it
else?
out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I guess I would just say, as Ann sort of said at the beginning, for anybody out there listening who has ever thought, how can I give back to the sport or anything like that, guiding is a great way to do it. And the fact is that, in my case, it takes all kinds of people, because a lot of people on my tri club will say, well, I'm just not fast enough to guide for you. That's the first thing they'll always say.
Right.
And I say, well, first of all, there is no such thing as not being fast enough to ride a tandem because
exactly.
you ride together, so there's no way I can leave you behind. Even if I was a better cyclist than you, there's no way I can leave you behind on that.
Right.
And also, really, to swim with me, you don't have to be very fast. But some of those people give me rides to training, and that's the way that they decide to help out. Because it's really hard around here. None of our cycling is rideable from my house, so we have to get me in this massive tandem bike from point A to point B, and sometimes that takes two people because somebody willing to give a ride has a Mazda Miata and somebody else has a truck. So,
right.
I would say that anybody who, finds this interesting or wants to get involved, there's so many ways to get involved, from, like I say, from giving somebody a ride to doing a training run to racing a tri. And, people can get in touch with me on Facebook or Twitter. They can, check with Achilles International or the See Different Foundation or the Challenged Athletes Foundation if they're interested in guiding. And those places will tell you how to get hooked up with an athlete. And I think most of my guides have a lot of fun, and sometimes it can result in some great friendships and some really fun times.
Yeah, that's great. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for both of you being on the show. It's an honor to have you on, and we'll keep following.
Thank you for having us on.
I can't wait
to
watch.
So much.
Can't wait to watch Kona. To see you guys on there on the NBC coverage would be awesome. Be like, I know them.
We're hoping for that too.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, so our goal is going to be looking good all day so that we can look good on the NBC coverage.
Are you going to be wearing RWB kits or what?
I think we're actually going to be wearing Team SLS Tri kits because
okay.
I got sponsorship from them, and
right.
so I'm arranging to get a kit for Ann so that we can be matching, and
right.
that'll make a much better, more persuasive statement. And on the bike, they'll actually be able to tell because no one can ever see what I'm wearing if they're looking at the bike go by.
So are those kits red and white, or what color are they?
No, they're pink.
They're pink?
The women's are pink.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll keep our eyes open for you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Brett.
All right, thank you.
All right, we are back. And thank you, Tina and Ann, and the best of luck. And I'm sure we'll get updates from them. And it sounds like they've really got it under control. I would say the only thing about Kona would be the franticness of the swim, and maybe they got that down pretty good. And the windiness of the bike, the crosswinds, might be something to train for. And I think everything else is pretty much handled, man. I think they got it. So this will be a first, a Guinness Book of World Records first, man. Pretty cool. All right, before we get into the training log where I list off tons and tons of training tips, let's do some sponsor stuff and some emails. We have Compete Hub. How's it going, guys? CompeteHub.com. Great place to go check out all your races. And It's kind of like a Facebook of triathlon. It's actually really, really cool. I dig it a lot. I've been on there a bunch lately. And then Sufferfest, discount code of 10% with ZT Suffers, all capital letters, ZT as in ZenTri Suffers. And these are great training videos that you can use while on the trainer running and biking. They have triathlon, so you can actually run with them. And go check that out. And Sunto, big sponsor of ours. I just swam across the lake earlier this morning and got a really accurate measurement of what I did with the Sunto Ambit 2. And that's my go-to watch. And it handles power meters on bikes. I mean, the thing is just handles triathlon just better than any other device I've ever seen. And I love it. And let's see, a trainer view, which is where it can stitch together. You plan a route on a map, and there's routes already made up to the big races, and you can on the trainer and on the treadmill watch this thing, and you can run around Paris, London, up and down the coast of New Zealand. One time I rode my bike up and down the coast of Norway, and basically it uses Google Street View and stitches it together into a almost seamless video, because it's Street View, it's still pictures, but you really get a feeling like you're cruising along wherever you want to go, and it's super cool, and I love that thing. And discount code is ZenTri. And also show donations, we'll get to that in a second. And Hornet Juice, I've been getting a ton of Hornet Juice orders lately, and it's a really cool way for me to send you an email and say how's it going wherever you live. I do that a lot. I like that a lot, and it helps support the show. And Hornet Juice is an amino acid powder that you drink a little bit before, during, and a little bit after on your longer workouts, and it helps metabolize body fat. It's super cool. It comes from this is crazy. It comes from Japanese killer hornet saliva. No crap, man. I swear to God it does. And I use it every once in a while, and more than every once in a while. I use it a lot. And it's for real, dude. It really, really works. So go check that out. Google Hornet Juice. Go to hornetjuice.com and see how it works. And you'll be like, holy crap, I got to try this. And get it through ZenTri on the right side of the page. Go to zentriathlon.com, scroll down, right side of the page. You get it through me, and then it helps support the show. And then, Amrita bars. So you go to amritahealthfoods.com, and you spell Amrita, A-M-R-I-T-A. Here comes a pontoon boat really close to shore. And A-M-R-I-T-A, Amrita. And they are date bars with seeds, and so they're nut-free. They're like super, super, super healthy. And they are worth it, man. They are so good. I've gotten to the point where I go to them over anything else in the pantry, and it might actually be a problem how fast I go through them. And they have they're really good for while you're working out. They're actually pretty easily digestible, so they're not a problem while they're working out. And they have one that's a recovery bar that's a little bit higher in protein, and it's chocolate and maca flavored. It's so freaking good. And those are the ones I tend to go to first. And it's nice. Just keep one in your jersey pocket when cycling, or in your shorts while running, and just kind of nibble on it every once in a while, and you are golden, man. It's really, really good stuff. Okay, so before the training log, we're going to answer questions, and these are coming from, let's see, if you help support the show and send me an email, if you help support the show by donating on the left side of the page, zentriathlon.com, then you can, it sends me an email, and in the email you can ask me a question and send me a note. And I forgot to mention discount code ZEN, all capital letters, Z-E-N, on the Amrita bars at amritahealthfoods.com. And let's see, we got lots of donations this month. I really appreciate it. It really helps. Saeed Khwaja and Mari, I can't tell, Wunschel gave a donation. Spiros Festus, how's it going, dude? Frequent donor. And Paul Johnson, And Vince Hancock, thank you very much. Christopher Allen, thank you so much. And then we have an email from Richard Thompson. Let's see what he's got to say. Oh, I've managed to break my internet connection. Let me see if I can get it going here. I'm out on this dock and there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet, there's no nothing out here. There goes a boat. Oh, that's kind of a big one. Kind of like a hybrid party boat. And let me refresh this page. Oh, this is great podcasting out here. There we go. There we go. Maybe. Not good podcasting. Come on. Nothing. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me get this fixed. Okay, it didn't work because it wasn't supposed to work. I thought it was supposed to expand and it wasn't expanding. And it's not supposed to expand. Killer show. This is from Richard Thompson. Killer show. 4 exclamation points. Keep the swim tips coming. This anchor needs all the help he can get. Yeah, man. Thank you, dude. That's what you get here. Send me swim questions, man. I'll answer them left and right. I've been swimming competitively since I was 9 years old, and I'm ancient now, so that's a long time. All right. Let's see. Philip Gerard. Let's see. Hey, Brett. I was listening to your episode with Brandon Marsh, awesome swimmer, and I felt like I could provide you with some information instead of only being you telling me cool stuff. Cool. Work. Oh, when I go to work every day, I say W to the ERK. Work is not the German word for work. Work is a manufacturing plant. So, for example, the BMW plant in Oxford would be the BMW Work Oxford, W-E-R-K, Oxford. The word for work is arbe or arbeid, I don't know, A-R-B-E-I-T, or if you want, workplace, and that would be Arbeitsplatz. Splots? Really? Or Spiats? I can't read it. What does it say? I don't know. Oh, my redneck vision. Okay. But then again, I can totally understand if you wanted to stay with the W to the ERK, work can feel awfully like a factory where you're just some tiny machine being used/abused. Okay. Also, entropy is the idea that energy always tries to reach an equilibrium. Oh, if you're new to this podcast, I like science, so this is cool stuff. Equilibrium, I just like learning. So for us, it means that if we have a box with hot air and a box with cold air, the air energy separated by a wall, then we remove the wall, the energy will spread itself out evenly inside the box. So that's entropy. Without putting in work, the air will never separate out into the hot and cold again. Which also means that if Kai's room is a mess again, because the Legos are everywhere, he is just obeying the laws of physics, right? The Legos tend to spread out into an empty space. Energy spreads out, and since mass is energy, the Legos also tend to spread out. Hope you're having an awesome day in Texas. With us, it is raining and gray, and he spelled gray, G-R-E-Y, which is the European version of spelling gray. All right. Thanks, man. That was awesome. I like that email a lot. Dude, that's pretty cool. And Allison Frutos, longtime donor. Dwayne Morin, longtime donor. Dan Machia, longtime donor. Thank you all very much. And Oliver in French Canada. Oh, this will be good. Here we go. Oh my God, this is a long one. Woo! Things are going pretty good. I just finished should I read it in French Canadian? Things are going pretty good. I just finished my first 70.3 in Mont Tremblant. I went pretty good, but I had to back it up a little bit on swim. Okay, I can't do anymore. And on the bike, but I had a very good run. Can you explain this? I had leg cramps on the swim, not cramps on the verge. I had leg cramps on the swim. Not cramps, but on the verge of getting it. So I was not swimming the pace I want and not on the bike. And I was not able to push on the pedals because he was worried about the cramps. Okay, yeah, this happens a lot. I think the suspect is overhydration. Let me explain. The day and few days before, I tried to stay hydrated as much as possible. Yeah, so you're doing something a little different. But the day before, every time I take a sip, 10 minutes later, I had to pee. Very clear. That's a bad sign right there. You don't want to be very clear. You want it to be light yellow. The night before, I was on the verge of getting small cramps in the legs when I was moving my legs. Oh, I forgot about this part. This was just the night before. On the bike leg, I had to use the bathroom on every aid station, 4 of them, because I was keeping drinking water. Yeah, it sounds like you're drinking way too much water, dude. I did not have any cramps on the run, and I took water and ice at every aid station. So what are you thinking? Thanks for your great podcast. It changes the way of doing things in life, not only in triathlon. Okay. I wrote back to him, and I said, cramps are usually caused by, a little bit of overtraining, too much stress, like running up and down hills too much when you're not used to it. And then the next day, going and doing some more stuff, then your muscles are fatigued out. They're a sign from your muscles that, they're cashing it out. They're like, I'm done. And you better hold back because you're going to hurt me, right? His hydration issue is interesting, and that, yeah, I agree that the overhydration did not help, okay? And it possibly made things worse. And I would say to keep this in mind, but only, don't take it too seriously. You actually will perform better just the tiniest bit dehydrated because it concentrates your blood sugar. Except, I'm saying don't take it too seriously, because then people will on purpose get a little bit dehydrated so that they perform better, and that's probably too much, right? So what you do is you just let go a little bit and just say, I'll be fine, and don't worry about getting just the tiniest bit dehydrated, because actually it's not all that bad for you, because you'll probably perform even better, probably, right? But overhydrated, it sounds like, what you were, and it was starting to cause cramps. So the way this works is you dilute the electrolytes in your body, and then there's not enough there to conduct the electricity correctly from your brain to signal your body what to do. Actually, totally pure water, it does not conduct electricity. It needs a little bit of salt and some other stuff in there, to make water conduct electricity. What do they call water that's been purified to the point where there's distilled water? Technically, if it's distilled enough, it's an insulator, not a conductor. It's pretty weird. So basically, if you keep peeing, or keep drinking and flush out all your electrolytes, you're turning your body into an insulator instead of a conductor, and then you start having problems. People start having seizures and stuff like that. So that's hyponatremia. No, hypernatremia? One or the other. Anyway, the should just blow it off. It's one or the other. No, dude, it's freaking serious. So I wrote him back and I said, I agree on the overhydration. If you're peeing clear, that is too much water. It wouldn't cause cramps in day-to-day life, but under stress of racing is a different situation for sure. The biggest cause of cramping is muscles being stressed from working out and then not enough recovery before the race. That would be big workout days and then not enough rest. And then race pace would do it. Your muscles are a bit tweaked and would revolt under the race pace. Ideally, you want to be peeing light yellow. Funny how nature put it literally right in front of us so we'd know, smiley face. That's what I wrote back. Cool, man. Oliver in French Canada. And he wrote, Merci encore et tu es invité dans la vie de Québec avec des familles quand tu viens. Tu es juste à mes contracteurs. And then said, go Google Translate that. And thanks again, and invite you to the city of Quebec with your family when you can come. Just contact me, I think is what that says. That's my redneck Latin trying to figure out that French. Okay, cool. And that is our news and our emails and questions answered. And I think that's it. So Oh, here comes some fishermen by the dock. This has been a trip, man, reading all this stuff while all this boat traffic's going in front of the dock. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the training log. This is where I take you with me. I think this one's around 2 hours long. And I do all kinds of crazy triathlon training. And I give out tons of tips on what I'm doing, how I do it, things I'm trying. Lots of good tips buried in there, lots of info. And it's the good stuff of this show. So I'm really proud to bring it to you. Let's go ahead and get started with the training log. Here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name's Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! Yeah! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
All right. Welcome to a new training log. I'm not sure of the date. It's like the 20th or 21st or maybe 21st. Yeah, Saturday. Had a meeting at work yesterday that was on the 20th. That's how I remember. So I'm out on a very easy run, a polarized training method run. Super, super easy. In fact, I was going just the tiniest bit too hard, and I drank too much coffee this morning, 2 cups. And I've had to stop and pee twice. Kind of like a dog. I got Kona with me, speaking of dogs. How's it going, buddy? Kona. Yeah, so he turns around. Sprayed him down with a hose before we got going. High today, I don't know, 92, 95, something like that. It's humid. But it is 7:20 in the morning. Left around 6:55. I've been running in the shade so far. A little bit of sun. Lots of really cool stuff happening. The polarized training is going so good. And I got a little bit of kids update. Coach Kai, my 9-year-old who does triathlons, I asked him a few days ago if he wanted to go do hard bike intervals. See, the thing is, he's on this triathlon team and he's racing this summer, a few races, only a few, but he's also on vacation, going places with grandparents, and so he's missing tons and tons of quote-unquote practice, which they train like every day, like 6 days a week, 5 days a week, mostly fun stuff. But he is missing out on it, especially like swim practice, which is more technique. So you just got to expose yourself to this to get it. The reason I'm telling you all this is because it ends up coming up for adult training. You'll catch on here in a minute. So after a few days or a week of him missing practice, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a coach, I forgot. I'll train him. But you got to be really, really careful. You don't want to train them like an adult. They're totally different. You got to keep it so fun. But actually, that's what I'm saying. Adults, we need to train like this too. You need to train like a kid. Need to keep it fun. And actually, the technique I like is keep the hard stuff so rare that they're just dying to do it. And when you have them do it, you give them almost not enough of it. So like, that's it? So they want more, in a few more days. And then everything in between is just playing around and just fun. So it's like polarized for kids. Here we go. There we go. All right, so quite a few days ago, I took him to the pool and showed him how to push off better,
more streamlined, and that was his swim practice. And then, come on, Kona, let's turn around. There's a guy mowing his yard with a tractor there. I don't want to get involved in that. Okay. What are you doing running down my private driveway? Okay. Now running away from the highway, back down this country road. I got Kona on the retractable lead. And then, a few days ago, he went with me on a run. He rode his bicycle, and I did intervals, and I showed him, like when I was done with an interval, I was walking, like super, super easy, I was going 9 out of 10. I was kind of just saying it out loud. This is what I'm doing. Okay, so then, last night, Emily and I took him with us on a family bike ride. It ended up being more like me and Kai took Emily with us. Kai and I. Anyway. So, his triathlon practice team usually rides an hour at a time. And I figured since we're doing intervals, we could cut that down. Maybe 40 minutes. So we're going to do an out and back of 20 minutes. And along these access roads, along the freeways, like super safe. Huge shoulder, but hilly. Long, gradual hills. And so we're going to warm up like 10 minutes, and then when we get to this first big hill, it's like a 3 or 4 minute long hill for him. So I want you to work up it kind of medium hard. Pretty hard, like 9 out of 10. But it's kind of long, so, don't destroy it. And there's more hills after that. So we went up it, and then at the top, he's panting for breath. And I was like, okay, just like our running, just go coast, just kind of noodle around. That's what they call it, noodling. So you recover, and we're gonna ride really, really easy until the next hill, and then do it again. There's like 4 hills. And that's what we did. And it was so cool. And Kai's so fast now. He's on a little kid's road bike, a Fuji Ace. Emily was having trouble keeping up. I had trouble keeping up sometimes because Kai doesn't weigh anything. So when he charges uphill, man, you gotta really hammer to keep up. It's pretty impressive. But then when he goes downhill, he doesn't go very fast because he doesn't weigh much. And then there was a headwind sometimes, so that slowed him down too. So that was pretty easy. But anyway, I took this photo. I rode up next to him. Took this photo of him charging up this hill, standing and climbing, and it's so freaking rad. It is so pro looking that I sent it to Arshad of Amrita bars. These super duper health bars that we eat that are super healthy, that Kai eats and I eat, and Emily eats. We all eat them like all the time. And I said, check out this photo. If you want to use this for anything, let me know. It's totally cool. Kai would love it. He looks so pro. And so Arshad wrote an email back and goes, holy crap, we're making kids bars right now. I totally want to use this on the bar maybe, or on the packaging somehow. I'm like, yeah, sweet. But anyway, when we finished, we got back to the house. We'd gone 40 minutes, which is much, much less than his regular bike workout that he does when he's with this tri team. And he was like, I could have done more of that. And I'm like, that is perfect. That's all you need, man. Because tomorrow, for fun, we're going to go swim. And I don't want you to be sore. You're just a little kid. Don't worry about being fast. You're already fast. Just being a kid. So it was really cool, training all around. And the polarized method is go hard when you go hard, like he was doing. And you only need a little bit of it to make you faster. And then everything else is just play, which literally for kids is play, jumping around, run to your friend's house, just a block, jog here, jog there, ride your bicycle around the neighborhood. Nothing big, just doing something, being active and eating healthy. So that was pretty cool. And on my end of the polarized training, I'm doing intervals every few days. 2 days have come completely easy in between. So let's see, 2 days ago, today's Saturday, Thursday, I did run intervals, which means Sunday, because Friday and Saturday off. Sunday, looking for cars, we're crossing the street here, will be bike intervals. Don't necessarily need to go long for my weekend ride because I'm going hard. But so that's 2 days easy in between. Friday and Saturday's easy. So what I'm doing is, yesterday morning I ran. I biked easy yesterday morning, and last night biked super easy, taking Kai out on his ride. Emily kept going, aren't you going to keep going or leave us and drop us and go do something? And I'm like, no, polarized, baby. I'm just chilling. It's just enough to be out here. And then an easy run this morning, just jogging like this so that I can talk. This is perfect. And then at some point this afternoon, when I was talking about taking Kai swimming, we're going to, there's a local club that opened up a new wing, a new branch, a new building, and they have a pool, but the pool's too short. It's like a 17-meter pool, but it has a current machine, but I don't think it's going to be fast enough. But I got guest passes. There's a bunny rabbit, Kona. Look, rabbit. So we're going to go play at the pool, Nothing major, just play. I'm going to make, because Kai hasn't been training for swimming, I'm going to make him. I'm going to ask him to do some hard intervals, like some 50 sprint, just a few of them though. And that'll make his arms stronger, but then everything else is play. Play in that current machine, swim laps, just play around. It's pretty cool. Feel for the water is so much more important than anything else. So speaking of swimming, it's super cool. My brother lives in Chicago. Well, somebody sent me an email asking if I would do the big shoulder swim next summer in Chicago. So it's in Lake Michigan, right off the coast of Chicago. It's a double loop 5K swim. And I've done one of those before here in Texas in Lake Conroe. And I liked it a lot. And my brother's really out of shape, so I'd really like for him to get back in shape. And he's 42, 43. And you start getting to that age and not being in shape, can start ruining your body, you know. So I'm kind of like, man, come on, you know. But he's my older brother. I can't tell him what to do. He gets mad. So anyway, the trick is, you know, for somebody to want to do something, well, for somebody to do something, to get back in shape, they have to want to, and something has to inspire them. So I was telling Emily, I'm like, his little brother telling him to do something, probably make him do the opposite. You know, his parents telling him to do something, he'll probably do the opposite to show defiance. That's just the way people work. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like parents and kids. But he bumps into somebody that he looks up to, that he respects and like thinks is cool. And then that person goes, man, I'm gonna do this big 5K swim in Lake Michigan. And then my brother's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I could do that. I can only imagine the conversation where my brother, the guy's like, hey, you should do this swim. My brother's like, oh, nah, you know. And then the guy goes, I'm totally gonna do it. I was on swim team like through middle school. I bet I could do it. And then my brother goes, oh, I used to swim too. And the guy goes, well, really? What'd you do? I swam for college. I was captain of the swim team. The guys would be like, what the F, dude? What are you talking about? Why aren't you doing this crap all the time, man? You would win everything. And my brother would say, really? You think so? Yes, dude. You get all the ladies. Come on, dude. Do this, man. And so that's the way it is with a lot of stuff, you know? Like, Emily's uncoachable because I tell her to do something. And she's like, whatever, it's my dumb husband just telling me to do stuff. I got to be my own person. I'm not going to do what he says because then we're not equal, you know? But one of her friends says, hey, you should do polarized and like do intervals to train for your bike ride. Emily will, I swear to God, this has happened so many times. Hey, Coach Adam said I should do this. You're like, yep, that's what I've been saying. Oh. So if you discover it on your own terms, whatever it is, you have fun, Kona? Then it's yours, and then you follow through with it. So, my whole point is, I sent an email to my brother saying, hey, this guy wants me to swim this lake swim in Chicago. You want to do it with me? It's like over a year from now. And he wrote back, nope, no thanks. And then I just dropped it, right? Really, that's the most I can do, is plant a seed that there's this option available, and I would do it with him, you know? A lot of people don't even know that there's stuff to do, you know, like that. Then a few days later, Emily notices on Facebook that my brother posted that he swam in Lake Michigan, first time since 1994 or 92 or something like that, that he swam. And I was like, holy crap. See, he did it. Something inspired him. That's pretty cool. Now, will he all the way follow through with it? I don't know. They say it takes like 3 inputs from people to get you to do something. Like, say you want to lose weight. It takes like 3 different people. It's like one of your coworkers making fun of you for being fat, and then, you know, your wife saying you're fat. Here comes a concrete truck. Kona's freaking out. He's like, there's a freaking monster. Let's get out of the road, buddy. Here, come here. We just ran past a concrete mixing plant. Kona, let's take this opportunity to drink some water. You doing good, buddy? It's a big dog, huh? And then they'll still brush that off. And then their kid or like some stranger on the street says, "Why are you so fat?" And then the individual's like, "Screw this, man. Everybody's calling me fat. I must be fat. I should lose weight." You know? And then somebody says, let's say for example, "You should do a triathlon." He's like, "That's stupid." And then somebody else a week later says, "Oh, I'm doing this triathlon. You should do a triathlon." And he's like, "Oh, that guy's a loser. Endurance sports are stupid. I'm going to lift weights. Because that's what I've always done. And that's all I know." And then somebody says, he meets somebody that just looks badass. You know? Drives a cool car or something. Somebody, like I said, somebody that he's like, "I want to be like that guy." Ends up sitting next to him at a bar or something. And then goes, "Hey, what's up? What's up?" End up hanging out, being cool, right? Making bro friends. Having a bro down with some bromance. Like, "What's up? I like this guy." And then he goes, "Hey, you want to go," the fat guy says, "You want to go, want to go fishing this weekend?" The guy's like, "Nah, I used to do that, but I got fat. I'm going to go do triathlons." Here comes a big truck. Let's get off the road, buddy. I'm going to do I'm going to go run. Because I'm training for a triathlon. It's okay. And then the guy's like, "Huh, man, I keep hearing everybody's doing triathlons." "Hey, don't drink that. That's nasty, dude." "Oh, maybe I could be like this guy and go do triathlons. And I'll be like this guy." He's like, "Well, running's stupid." And then the triathlete guy is like, "Yeah, I know, dude. I hate running. I actually like biking. That's my favorite. But for triathlon, you really don't have to run that much. You just run some." And then the guy's like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go run with Rick Dingfield. He's cool. I'm going to start training for triathlons." And he goes to a triathlon. He's like, "Holy crap, everybody's so fit. This is awesome. I love this." Here comes some cyclists. They'll catch up with us in a minute. Anyway, so then his wife and his friends are like, "Man, we've been telling you to do triathlons for years, you dumbass. What took you so long?" It's like, "Well, I don't know." It's like, whatever. Well, what really happened was enough people and then somebody cool that he looked up to said, "Do it." So that's how it happens. But will I be swimming the Chicago Big Shoulder Swim with my brother next year? That would be a dream come true for me. But will it happen? That's very complex. Not sure if it'll actually happen or not. Right? There's so many factors that go into that. So, as a reply to his Facebook post, I wrote, "Hey, that's cool that you swam. Here's a map of the actual," because he just swam. And I posted back, "Here's a map of the actual swim course, you know." So I'm further planting a visual of what it is, because there's that. What is it? When it's vague, you don't know what you're doing. You'd rather sit on the couch, right? And I said, we both went to Kingwood High School and swam for Kingwood High. I said, you could probably win your age group. And wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be funny? Both of us wearing our Kingwood High School t-shirts on the shoreline. Kingwood High swimming. It'd be funny in our 40s. Anyway, but I'll tell you a secret. If he wants to win his age group, he's gonna have to beat me. We're in the same age group. I just realized that, like yesterday. I was like, oh my God, dude, we'd be in the same age group. That'd be so funny. Oh, and then I sent him a link to the results of the 5K swim that I did in Lake Conroe, which is the lake that we grew up on. You know? Where I got 4th. But only out of like 12 people or something like that. But, you know, like evidence, like this is totally doable, dude. Like people do this all the time. It's kind of fun, you know? And look, your idiot little brother got 4th. Aren't you better than him? Imagine if you did it. I didn't even swim in college and I got 4th. What place would you get if you were actually collegiate level NCAA swimmer? You know? So anyway, there's that. There's some cyclists out. I think that's enough recording for this morning. Oh, I wanted to mention I ran across a cool article. Kona, let's get a little bit closer. Now I'm on a busier street. I got a retractable leash. Pull them in a little bit. I ran across a cool PubMed article that I found it by accident, linked to something that Tawny posted. And it's on fat metabolism, and going low carb. And basically, through the summary, reading the fine print, reading between the lines, and some other stuff I've heard. Oh, on I Am Talk, another cyclist. Oh, this is the same guy. No, different guy. Low carb, high fat. Huh, wait. Gotta cross the street. Okay, let's go. Good boy. Low carb, high fat is a temporary training method that you do on I Am Talk. I guess it was Dr. Tamsin Douglas, maybe it was her, maybe it was someone was saying. You do it on occasion. So it's kind of like intervals, but I would say even less frequently. You do it on occasion to enhance your fat burning, right? Because long term it will F up your metabolism your thyroid. So it's not a lifestyle, it's a technique. And to further drive the point home, it's a technique you do on occasion, kind of like hill work or something. And then the PubMed article was the amount of carbs you burn is all relative to the amount of exercise you do, pretty much. If you're an endurance athlete, low carb for you is way higher than some low carb dieter, you know, somebody that just sits at a desk all day and does nothing else. Hey, come over here, over here. Go around the pillar. There you go. And this PubMed article, they found enhanced results for athletes versus a control group, where the athletes, the enhanced ones were, they went low carb, high fat for 2 weeks leading up to an event. And then went back to, Kona almost got him a rabbit. They went back to regular carb so that they had enough glycogen stored up for the race. You know, so they went back to, I guess not really carb loading, but just normal carb. And then what that did, let's stop here. Man, I could run like this all day. I think that's the point. Talking pace, occasional Hornet juice sip. That's what I'm drinking. That's all gone. That was my Hornet juice. Let's wash it down with some water. I heard a cow. Must be feeding time. Okay, let's go. Wait for me. Wait. This is a pretty run right here. There's all kinds of wildflowers on either side of the sidewalk in the woods. What? No, he's going that way. We're going this way, buddy. Oh my. So, the 2 weeks of high fat, low carb did enhance their metabolism so that they ran on better fat burning. And then it definitely increased performance. And then going back to regular carb, regular fat before the race to get their performance back up, you know, so they'd be able to race effectively, worked fine. And the improved metabolism from going low carb, high fat, the improved fat burning stayed, was effective through the test, through the race. And they mentioned that the, what do you call it? That you want to go back on regular carb before the race, because if you go low carb too long, your body forgets how to metabolize the carbs. It blunts carb response. So I thought this was pretty cool. Basically, you can do a period, like 2 weeks or something, maybe, I don't know, of low carb, high fat to train your metabolism to be better. But then go back to regular carb because it will jack your body up to go low carb too long. Your body forgets how to burn carbs when you need them, when you need to. And definitely, it messes up your serotonin levels, your thyroid, your metabolism slows down over a long, if you do it too long. And you'll end up gaining weight and not burning calories at all, and feeling sluggish and tired and sleepy and depressed. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, I think that's it. Gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. We're almost back at the house. It's been nice. Out.
Oh, man. I feel like I don't have much. I don't have much. But the swim this morning got cut short, not even halfway through. 27 minutes in. Thunder. And that's the downside of swimming in an outdoor pool, man. Had to get out. I was doing intervals, and man, I feel like I'm just not into it this morning. Although I started off this morning feeling like I was really into it. What happened? Oh, so much. The I got nothing. I'm gonna quit. Bye. Whew, I'm back. Man, I couldn't leave it on that note. I had to gather some thoughts for a minute. I'm in the habit of recording after a swim sometimes, and then I just had nothing. But that's reality, man. That's podcasting. That's real podcasting. Old school podcasting. I wanted to mention interval stuff and muscle mass and how it makes you feel. So I've noticed lately that doing stuff around the house, I feel less like a old man, like bending over to pick up things doesn't hurt. I'm more. I could just feel I'm stronger. I got like gorilla strength, not really, but more, and than I had before, and and more resilience against getting pain from joints from twisting or a sudden movement, like trying to catch something that's falling or something like that. You have a sudden reflex, and the older you get, the more that bothers you. And then picking up things, heavy things, moving stuff. The interval work that I'm doing is making me stronger. And also I noticed that I'm putting on a few pounds, but my waist isn't growing. My belt loop is staying in the same notch, and my belt buckle is staying at the same notch, although I've gained a few pounds, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. So it seems to be pointing at, all signs seem to be pointing at putting on muscle mass, getting stronger, and also a feeling of a little more toughness and like a little bit more like I'm kind of awesome kind of feeling. And that's testosterone, and that's why guys crash cars into things as they race each other around. And risky behavior. Young males have riskier behavior than young females. There's a study in England where they, like boys run out in traffic and get hit by cars more often than girls because they exhibit risky behavior. They're more willing to dare each other to run out in the street and go get that ball or something like that, and it's a sign of toughness, and it's just a guy thing. It's testosterone. And resistance training increases testosterone a lot. And the bigger the muscle group you work, the more it does it. And along with that, the whole point is when you're doing intervals, it's a lot like lifting weights, and you're really working a muscle group hard, and it's like resistance training. So you can actually feel your testosterone go up, and it's a nice. All right, I'm here to pick up Kai, and I'm going to see if they're actually swimming. Yeah, they are. Okay. I got to pick them up from swim practice and then take them to soccer practice. Again. I'm soccer dad today. And that's it. Out, big. That's the way you end a recording right there. How about that, people?
All right. I'm walking after doing an interval out running. That was number 3. 8 minutes long. Running intervals today. Because today's Wednesday. I did bike intervals on Monday. 8 minutes long. Then 2. And when you're doing an 8 minute long interval, you ought to be cautious at the beginning. Not start off quite too hard. More like an 8 out of 8 at first. Because you don't feel it. And if you're a triathlete, they've proven, you've got a higher pain tolerance. So your 9 out of 10 is probably somebody else's, oh my God, I'm dying. Here comes a big truck playing his radio. I used to do that. Oh, man. All right. You want good workout music, find Pretty Lights. Good stuff. Anyway, I gotta get back to my interval. Feeling good, man. Out, bing. Come on. All right. Turn down for what? Oh, man. That was the last interval. I'm walking afterwards. The more you do something, you get better at it because you get more fine-tuned at it, at what it takes, and what's correct and what's not, what's smooth, what's efficient, and what's too much, and what's too little. And I can tell from experience now, from doing enough of these, that, like how hard to go, what's good. Because, for example, on the bike ride on the last Sunday, doing intervals, I pushed it a little bit harder at the end, to really drive it home. And I think that was just a little bit too much. And I could tell by like how long it took me to recover from that. It was a little bit too much. And so on this run, I'm holding back, like I said, just the tiniest bit more than what I usually do at the beginning. And then what I'm finding is, just like if you swim a lot, you end up getting more fine motor skills over hand grab and feel for the water, right? Those of you that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. You can actually learn to feel to grab the water instead of this kind of sloppy kind of pulling through, pushing the water around. It's almost like the water is a ladder with rungs on it and you can pull yourself through. Well, the more I do these intervals, I zero in on what is appropriate. And it's like the road becomes alive. Like I can feel everything, I can feel my feet pushing off. Everything just, zens out and zones in. And you get that flow of, perfect execution. You can just tell, and holding back just a little bit is so useful because it allows you to zero in a little bit better and do the actions a little bit better. And then you find joy in doing the actions appropriately and clean. Oh, that was a good run. I'm probably high on endorphins or something. Anyway, sun just went down. You can hear the tree frogs maybe. And there's a nice breeze. It dumped rain today. Lots and lots and lots of rain. I don't know, we probably got several inches of rain. People that live in deserts are so used to, getting like 6 to 9 to 12 inches of rain a year. In East Texas, we get a lot of rain. in relation to West Texas. West Austin is the dry line, is what they call it, where everything west of Austin is dry. Everything east of Austin starts getting a whole lot more wet. We're the breaking point. So College Station, where I live, is on the east side of Austin. There's your geography lesson for the podcast. So we get more rain. So it dumped, and it was nice. Now all the creatures are happy. You can hear whatever that is in a tree. I don't know what that is. It sounds great. There's a car going too fast. You can tell I'm a parent in the subdivision. And no fuel during this workout. Don't need it. And it's not because I'm doing some kind of crazy low carb crap. Just ate really healthy today. Whole foods. Oh, that reminds me, man. Oh, this week in paleo, this latest episode. Look for Wednesday around June 24th or something like that. Wow, so powerful, man. Really, really good. Eat your freaking food, your whole food, and just stay away from junk food. Be so happy. We're all searching for a food solution, and you know what macronutrient, micronutrient is going to fix everything. All it does is lead you to eating more. And the solution, oh, well, that was on Endurance Planet. But on This Week in Paleo, you don't need to look forward and hope science comes up with something. People have been eating fine and living a long time, just eating whole foods and working, jogging, exercising, living, not thinking about food so much, man. Had a big ass salad today. Whew, man, and some scrambled eggs. All right, that's it. Out, bang. Hey, had a lunchtime run today. It's Thursday, and I found that I really enjoy breaking up the workday with a little bit of run. I wish that I didn't get the sun exposure. There's not much tree cover here in central Texas. It's rolling prairie, and so some places have trees, but a lot doesn't. And I'm not a fan of how much sun exposure I get at lunch, but man, it is a nice way to break up the day. And I was explaining to another coworker that the challenge of getting it done actually kind of electrifies the day a little bit, and it makes the day just better. You know, a little bit of challenge gets a little bit of adrenaline flowing, and it energizes you for the rest of the day. So I've noticed that days where I run at lunch, and specifically running outdoors through varying terrain, all over the place, is my afternoons at work that drag on are far different than days where I don't. The afternoons are far better. Like, it's amazing how much different energy-wise I feel for the rest of the day. But anyway, so I'm running, and I'm listening to a Zen podcast, and it's Sylvia Boorstein, and I love listening to her talk because she sounds like your grandmother has sat down and decided to take time to tell you how the world really, really works from a wise and kind elder, And I don't know, there's something about that distinct personality that it's just like listening to my grandmother telling me, what to do and what not to do. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so she's one of my favorite Zen teachers. And she was talking about, this wasn't the main point of the talk, and this is a relaxing run. I'm just going easy. These talks are like an hour long, so it's really nice to listen to. And something she mentioned at one point during the talk was
you, or maybe it was somebody else. She invited a couple of other people at the end to get up and talk as well. But you steer the ship with a rudder, right? So that's the general direction that you're going in, and it made me think about how and made me think about how people get worked up. Oh, and something. This is hard to transmit here. She was saying something about, whoever was talking was saying something about being calm despite it, and keep the rudder, keep calm despite distractions and despite all this other stuff, and like a boat, steer with the rudder and kind of aim where you want to go in the general direction. And I thought, a really good analogy, a metaphor for all this is the ocean and a malaphor, because I'm not sure which one. But the ocean is you in a boat with a rudder, or any kind of boat. It doesn't really matter. You aim for where you want to go, and as a pilot, a boat pilot, or as a captain, it can be either, depending on the ship, then you're not concerned about the waves, the up and down of the waves, right? That's not the issue. And there's going to be waves, and they're going to push the boat up and down, and it's going to be quite a scene with how much you go up and down, But a good captain, unless it's disastrously steep waves, big waves, you don't really worry about it that much. They are just what they are, and you keep the boat pointed to the coordinates or the direction that you want to go. And I thought, that's a really good analogy or metaphor for life, that you have your goal. Let's say you're college aged and you want a degree. The goal is the degree, and you're going to have ups and downs, of a bad grade in this class, great grade in that class. One of your student friends gets into a car wreck, and it's bad. I mean, like bad. And that's a down, And then the up is, you got a new boyfriend or girlfriend, But don't let that distract you from the goal. What is the goal? The goal is to walk across that stage and get your diploma, And it's always important to keep in mind, what is the goal? What's your longer term goal? And we're not talking like end of life goal, maybe, but in general, like, what's your goal for today? And don't let the ups and downs. The ups and downs are just waves, and don't let it mess you up, And what's your goal for this race? What's your goal for this year? What's your goal for the next 10 years? You want to save up and get a house? Buy your own house? Well, that's your goal, and let the waves up and down. They're going to happen, but don't let it mess you up too much. So if you look at, the thing is to not let the waves bother you and distract you from the goal, and angst, and oh my gosh, this wave, whatever, because there's going to be another wave behind it. But then it also made me think of something that I wanted to tell you guys that I think is so funny. Is my dad loves to sail, and I grew up sailing all the time. And my dad handed me the rudder of the boat, or the wheel of the boat, and saying, okay, we're headed that way. Those trees over there on the far shoreline, aim for those. And then I remember one time he goes, okay, we're headed to that over there. So there's like a marina, over the horizon, pretty far up. And he said, aim for that. And then he said, well, actually, that's where our destination is, but aim for these trees to the left of it, and that big stand of trees way over there, like a quarter mile to the left of it. And I'm like, well, why? And he said, It may have all been in one sentence. He goes, da-da-da-da-da-da, but aim over there to allow for slippage. And I go, what? And he goes, to allow for slippage. And he said the wind, because we're in a sailboat, the wind is going to push us from, the wind's coming from port to starboard, which is left to right. And sort of, depends. And the if you're facing the bow, it's from left to right. And he said, the wind's coming from port to starboard, so it's going to push us starboard. You know, so you want to aim a little bit to port to allow for slippage. The wind's going to push you sideways. And I just started laughing. I go, Dad, that's something you can say all the time. And I kept saying it. I still to this day don't know like how much he knows that affected me and how often I say it just walking around the house, you know. I'll put something on the stovetop and I'll be cooking and I'll put it off to the side a little bit. And Emily will be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, it's to allow for slippage. Or like I'll put extra material in something while I'm working with, I don't know, lubing the chain on my bike or something like that. And Kai will say, why do you put so much on there? And I'm like, oh, to allow for slippage. But anyway, that's a metaphor for life, right? Aim for your target, but also take into account the prevailing wind direction. And you got to overcompensate a little bit and against it. Not much, but just enough to allow for slippage. So I'm going to get on the bike. Oh, time management, allowing for slippage. Oh my God. Woo! That's the whole thing. Figure out exactly how long you think a project's going to take and then double it, because that's how long it'll probably really take. And man, this afternoon I'm trying to watch a video about something I need to know for work. It's a training video. It's 11 minutes long. It took me 3 hours to watch this 11-minute long video because of all the interruptions, right? That's your slippage right there. And what I should have done was close the door to my office and watched it without anybody bothering me. But anyway, we all learn little things kind of here and there. All right, that's it. I'm going to go for a bike ride. Out. Bang. Hey dudes. Oh man, it is Saturday early afternoon and I'm in my living room. I got to comment on that in a second. And I'm doing some coaching and I need to make a training log note on some stuff I did yesterday and today. It just started raining outside. And first comment is, over the years, I finally worked on Emily to allow bikes in the house instead of her constantly telling me to put them in the garage, put it in the garage, put it in the garage, put it in the garage. Now she's seemingly like blind to them. And I'm looking right now and there's a bike. I have see, the thing is nice bikes are works of art, man. They're beautiful, beautiful works of art. And hiding them in a garage, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can appreciate them by leaving them out, and then they're more accessible. So if you ride your bike a lot, you just grab it and go, you know, without having to dig it out of the garage or wherever you keep it. Depends on your living situation, what you got. And the thing is to find a place in your house to kind of lay them that's kind of pretty. And so anyway, I've got this road bike, a True North titanium custom road bike that I got as a part of a sponsorship thing a while back. And I love this bike. It's beautiful. And it's I found a nice spot for it. It's laying up against the fireplace. It's really cool. It's out of the way. And then the tri-bike, I think I found a new place for it, leaning against the wall in the hallway that's kind of out of the way. But actually, right now it's up on the bike stand in the pain cave, where I had to take the rear wheel off and replace the batteries in the power tap. His batteries were as dead can be, and I'm not sure why. What was up with that? But anyway, the first off, I just got this email from somebody, John Morgan, a guy that I helped out with some podcasting tips. He turned it around during the phone call and really helped me more than anybody, and I helped him. So, John Morgan, and he works with pools in Florida, I believe, and he said that your teeth will get eaten up by, along with everything else, but swimmers have problems with pools eating up their teeth because of low pH, which is acidic. The way to prevent it is simple, quick, and easy. Take a phenol red pool test bottle to the pool. Put 1 drop in the pool. If it turns red, jump in. If it turns yellow, stay out and yell at the pool tech. Oh, and I just sent him an email back saying, do you have anything online? And but actually, he provided a link inside the email. So this is going to be really bad podcasting. I'm trying to dental erosion, so alkaline pH might be a potential cause for erosion. However, now common economic swimming pools be chlorinated with chlorine gas. Oh, my high school pool was like that. Instead of hypochlorite, which leads to the formation of hypochlorite acids interacting with the pool water. This gives rise to an acidic environment with pH ranging from 2.7 to 4. Whoa! Proper buffeting is required to maintain the pH of the pool water be between 7.2 and 7.8. When I was a lifeguard, we had to test this with the little clear, little testing kit. Buffered through the addition of soda ash. So anyway, he's saying you should get a bottle of the pool testing stuff. There's a pool store near my town. And here, they're talking about in India, they have this problem. And now they're talking about a sample, age and race and training, clinical foot, dental erosion, rough surfaces, and data was collected in a form of structured questionnaires. Analysis results among 35 individuals. Okay, 100 swimmers, 90% had dental erosion, and 94% had rough surfaces. The present erosion was found to be more with increasing duration of swimming per day. Those who were regular swimming for less than 2 hours showed 20% DE and 40% RS. Those swimming 2 to 4 hours showed 93.9 DE and 96.3 RS. And those who were swimming for greater than 4 hours showed 92.3 DE, dental erosion, and 100% RS, respectively. Holy crap. Okay, so I swim about an hour a day, 3 times a week. So I don't think, maybe in my case, this is too much for me. Wow, this is really interesting. Okay, I need to put a link to this on the blog. God, please, Brett, don't forget. I always forget to put stuff on the blog. I'll tweet it. So if I don't put it on the blog, look at my tweet history from Saturday the 28th of June, and then you can find it. And, okay, bike ride today. I saw Doug. 21. Okay, I've switched over from doing classic. Well, I don't think there is a really good description of polarized. Polarized is there's not a really good description of the hard part of polarized. You can go like really hard intervals, kind of medium intervals, or whatever. Sweet spot training. I need to do a podcast just on sweet spot training, but it's sub threshold, and threshold is the hardest you can go for an hour. So it's firm and it requires focus, but it's not much harder than that. And yeah, I'm going to save that for another podcast and go over that in detail. But I was doing sweet spot intervals. Last night's run. Starting with yesterday morning's swim, and then last night's run, and then this morning's bike ride. And this morning's bike ride, that's something I can measure pretty easily and see if I was going faster or not. And wow, man, nice. But a lot of the increase in power is from the the harder intervals I've been doing that are spaced out. But I'll talk about this in a future podcast, but sweet spot intervals, you can do more of them, and you can do them workout after workout after workout, pretty much every day. But then say you do them like 3, 4, 5 days in a row. 5 might be a stretch. I don't really know. I think it kind of depends. Then you need to take a break. So it's kind of like build, break, build, break. And the sun just came out. Squirrel. And let's see. I was riding just a 2-hour ride this morning, and lots of sweet spot mixed in. And I saw the huge cycling group in town, which was really cool, and stopped and talked to them for a minute. I averaged in a 2-hour ride with lots of wind. It was really windy, and 2,000 feet of elevation gain, 2,100 or maybe 2,600 or something like that. And I went 44 miles, at averaged 21.1 miles per hour, which is nice. That's a nice. Oh, and then fueling, man. I think I've really, really opened some doors with my training potential and ability to improve by finally zeroing in on some good fueling that seems to work for me really well. And it's a mix of complex carbohydrates, which, if I've already talked about it on this podcast, I'm sorry, but what is it? What am I using? Oh, brown rice flour, which is you can get at the grocery store. And then, so that's kind of a whole grain flour. So that's complex carbs, so that's slow burning. Maltodextrin, which is fast burning. And then like a teaspoon or a couple teaspoons of ground chia seed powder, which has a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, but not really. I mean, it's just something to kind of add to slow down the power. And then a tablespoon of honey for every hour, and then a few pinches of salt. And then matcha powder, which is this green tea. You can order it online, and stuff's really hard to find in a grocery store. I heard maybe you can get it at Whole Foods, but I don't know. I ordered mine from Amazon. And matcha powder is ground up green tea leaves. And so it's basically green tea, but it includes the fiber from the leaves. So it's a really nice mix of high power, fast absorbing, and slow absorbing stuff. The chia seeds and the green tea powder because that has some fiber in it, and the brown rice flour are slow, and the honey and the maltodextrin is fast. And the mix of those together seem to be perfect. And anyway, so I'm riding along and dosing myself with sweet spot intervals. And the cool thing about sweet spot is you just do them when you want to. And what I did on the ride is and you do them for however long you want. It's no big deal. And as you get better and better and better at them, you can do sweet spot for hours on end, actually. But you're going to need a lot of recovery if you do like that. But the other thing is, it depends on how much you're used to. The more you do, you can build up to doing lots and lots and lots. That's what people do, is they build up doing more and more sweet spot training, and until they can do. Sorry, I got the hiccups. A couple hours at a time, maybe 3 hours at a time. Holy crap, I got the hiccups. And, but anyway, what's cool is what I was doing was doing it whenever a harder effort would be advantageous to a faster overall time for my entire ride. So riding into the wind, I would do sweet spot, and then riding uphill, I would do a sweet spot. And so basically I was taking breaks from it. So those were like intervals, and they were just however long it took, to get out of that situation. And then downhill or with the wind, I would just cruise easy. And that's actually like a really effective way to race. That you, if you got a tailwind and you're going downhill then you don't really need to push all that hard because nature and the terrain is already pushing you pretty fast. So you can already go fast, and then the energy you're saving kind of helps you recover. What I've noticed with the sweet spot stuff, what it does is it also allows you to, or with the fueling, it allows you to digest and absorb the fuel that you've taken in, and then when you do turn into the wind or need to go uphill, you've got energy to do it. It's pretty cool, man. But 21.1 is pretty freaking nice for low average heart rate. Let me see if I can pull it up here. What was my average heart rate? I had it here somewhere. Moves count, which I use. Oh, what's cool, man. Oh, it's so rad. God, Sunto automatically uploading to Strava. It's so freaking rad. Love it. What I've noticed with the sweet spot, I can sweet spot workout yesterday morning, yesterday evening, this morning, and just keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. Average heart rate of only 125. Oh man, that is rad. That's a good workout. All right. Well, I need to get back to coaching. If I think of anything else, I'll hop back on over here. And Western States 100 is today, man. It's pretty cool following it on the interwebs as well as I can. And I think Max King and Rob Craw are kind of in the lead, and those are the two to watch right now. But these things are really long, 15, 18, 20 something hours, and it kind of depends on the day and the heat and who's somebody can be winning for 90 miles, 95 miles, and then just blow up and then get passed, So it's a lot like Ironman, but even longer, even harder. So, all right, I'll be back in a bit. Out, bang. All right, folks, I'm in the ZenTri Mobile Studios, and lots of stuff to catch up with. Holy crap, I had a couple of days of just feeling blah, no motivation. I'm just sitting there at work, like staring at the computer screen going, and the voice in my head's going, freaking work! And my body and my willpower is going, no. And in the back of my head, the voice is going, you got crap to do it. And then my hands won't touch the keyboard. I just sit there going, whoa, like that. And I think we go through this. Everybody does, where you're not, you want to do stuff, but you just don't have the energy or something like that. And I was like, man. And then I noticed also at the same time, I was really hungry for anything, So like in one half day, I ate 2 or 3, it was 3 TV dinners. They're all healthy and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, and then I also went to a Whataburger, which is Texas's kind of own Burger King, and got, a burger, no fries though, but I got a milkshake. And I've learned a lot of the problem is not enough calories for the work I was doing, and you end up with low energy, and then low energy and then hungry, and what you should have done is eaten more calories and carbs while you were training and as recovery, and then because you didn't, now you're in a negative hole and you're trying to work yourself out. And then the problem is you start overeating, eating crap food to compensate and get your calories back up. And because it's crap food, because you're so hungry, you can't make good choices. You end up eating worse food, and things like hamburgers and milkshakes and stuff like that, trying to get your calories back up. But anyway, live and learn, you know. But that reminds me, I was on Slow Twitch and there was this thread, and it just shows me. I mean, to me, it's so obvious. It's almost a stupid question, but it just shows you, you know, where we are in society with trying to do stuff, and how much a lot of us have to learn. Because I was probably the same way when I first started out. Somebody said, "Hey, I went for a 3-hour ride, and then I have a 3-hour workout," is what they said. I'm not sure it was a ride. It probably was. A 3-hour workout, and now I have no energy. What? Why? You know? And I mean, at least they're asking. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask, I guess, mostly. And then somebody said, "Well, what'd you have to eat?" And he said, "Oh, you know, I woke up and I had a banana and an apple, and then during the ride I had another banana and another apple." And everybody was like, "Dude, what the hell, man? A 3-hour, you know, workout. How many calories are you burning, dude, in a 3-hour workout? Like, oh my God, 600 times 3, 1,800 calories? How many calories are in 2 bananas and 2 apples? You know, 400, maybe? And you're, it's like, I got some aggressive drivers behind me. You people need to calm down, dude. Seriously. And so what you're at like a 1,400 calorie deficit, you know? And then you're like, why? And then the thing is when people try to tell you that you're not eating enough, you're like, I'll try another banana. You're like, a banana's 100 calories, man. That's not freaking enough. You don't get it. You know, this stuff is, triathlon training is not commensurate with eating, just kind of poking around with your calories and stuff. You will get exhausted and you will be a very unhappy person. So, this Mercedes is trying to jump in on me. It's pretty amazing. Hold on, that threw me for a second. Dude swerved at me with his Mercedes. If I was driving a Mercedes, I'd be driving pretty defensively. Anyway, and then this weekend, I was helping yet another person on a long list of triathletes that is dealing with lack of energy and depression and stuff like that from not eating enough calories, carbs specifically, not eating enough carbs while training. And we've fallen into this very current culture of low fat or high fat, low carb, and some of us have convinced ourselves, you know, that we shouldn't drink any kind of juice, and that we, fruit and bread and stuff like that, you know, should be totally stayed away from. And, you know, that might work. Big might. If you're not exercising. But once you start exercising, man, your carb count goes way up. And I was explaining to this person that it's relative to your burn rate. So I was just listening to Endurance Planet last night, and Ben Greenfield, who I firmly blame for a lot of this, but I do like Ben, but I blame him. I can do that. I can blame for a lot of this. He was saying, the thing is he's saying stuff, and then people are picking, they're cherry picking certain things and then trying it, and then it doesn't, and then they end up having trouble, but they're not listening to the whole message. So for example, last night he was saying, you know, if you're trying to go low carb, if you're not exercising at all, it's 50 grams of carbs a day. And then once you start exercising, it starts going up and up and up grams of carbs. So he was up to 200 grams of carbs if you're doing longer workouts. And that's a lot. That's a big difference. And I'm not saying also that people are dumb for falling into this habit and then getting funkified depression over this stuff. I am one of them. On my list of like 4 or 5 people that I know personally that started suffering depression from not eating enough carbs and mixing it with triathlon training, which is the most intense training sport out there. It's the most carb-heavy sport. You're training for 3 sports, not 2, but 3, right? You're burning through carbs like crazy. The first person that I met that was having trouble and had to get on happy pills to get out of the funk was yours truly right here. I'm pointing at myself. Me. You know? And that was tough to figure out, man. You know, I had to get help and like start talking to people, and then I stumbled across the whole answer myself. And then once I found that, I started chasing it down and finding out more. But anyway, I am... what did I do? Oh, I ran this morning. Had a nice... Oh, the couple of days where I was feeling funky because I hadn't eaten enough. I still went out and exercised. It polarized, you know. Just went out and it went really, really easy. And I was doing that, and one of the reasons that I burned through all my glycogen reserves, all my carb reserves, and needed some saving was this past weekend was needed to eat a burger and a milkshake. Was long bike ride, longish, but more intensity mixed in, lots of intensity mixed in. And then, what was it? And I think I didn't eat enough to compensate. And, but the polarized thing is go super, super easy until you feel great again, right? And that's what I did. I cut my workouts down to a quarter of what I usually do. And the quarter that I did, I just kind of plodded along and went easy. Just kind of some sanity, enjoyment, kind of poking around. I think on Twitter I posted that I went poking around on the bike. And then I swam yesterday. That was pretty good. And then I ran this morning. It is hot. Oh, and Kona is starting to get seizures. And we think it's related to him running in the heat at night. Because he has the seizures at night. And Kona's our big black lab, and we're trying to figure out if it's after I take him running and then later on at night, much later on at night, he has a seizure, because one vet said that it could be related to hypoglycemia, and we don't give him more food. I was thinking about it. It's like, I don't give him more food on the days that he runs with me, and he could be having low blood sugar. If that helps cause seizures, then that, you know, running and also heat, the stress of the heat, could be the mix. So we're switching up and not taking him, and that we've noticed he's had more seizures now that it's summer, and so what we're doing is changing our behavior. And changing our behavior. So I'm taking them only running in the morning in this heat, and when it's cooler, and then with and of course shortening the runs. I've done that already, and then and now I'm giving him food, extra food on times that he runs, and hoping that'll help. So we'll see. All right, that's it. I got to go into W to the ERK. Out, bang. All right, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm leaving the pool. And here's the sounds of putting my crap in my wet swimsuit crap away. Here we go. And while I'm doing it, I'll tell you about something cool. Oh, man. Been listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. Freaking love it, man. I really encourage people to check it out. And what I've found is that the reason... I'm trying to figure out why I like it so much. And there we go. There's the wet swimsuit towel and goggles, swim cap, into the Xterra roof box. Need to unlock the vehicle so I can get in it. I like it that he the podcast is like 3 hours long and they're just talking about nothing, you know? But they're talking about cool shit. And I've learned years ago to not really have an opinion on people, and before I really get to know them, and even after I get to know them, to reserve my opinion because people change, not act on my opinion too much, because people change and people are different in different situations. Somebody that's a jerk here can be really nice there. Hitler used to write poetry to his poems about his mom and do beautiful paintings. People are pretty freaking random. Here's an Amrita bar. And I'm going to chew away from the mic. Okay. But I guess I was kind of thinking that Joe Rogan was a little bit of a meathead and probably wasn't all that bright. And is that pot growing in the median? But what I've come to find out listening to him is, I'm a fan of Joe Rogan's, I guess, because he was on news radio, and I loved Andy Dick and Joe Rogan on news radio, and also the owner of the news station was pretty good too. And what I really, really like is Joe Rogan doesn't assume too much and then learns stuff on the radio and changes his opinion about things the moment that he finds out that he's wrong, right? Wrong, right? The moment that he finds out he's wrong, he changes his stance on stuff and says, "Oh, well, that's cool. That's really interesting." And then also, and that makes you smarter, and you keep getting smarter and smarter. The more you're willing to accept reality and then use it. And then there was something else that he does. He'll take when he doesn't know something, they'll get right on the internet and Google it and then find out. I mean, that's exactly the kind of stuff that I like to do. You know, I can change my opinion on anything once I find out that I'm wrong. I'd rather learn something than just be right. I'd rather be right than be wrong about being right and just be right, right? But if anybody was able to follow that, congratulations. Then another really weird thing is he doesn't introduce the guests at the beginning of the show. So you have no idea really who you're listening to, but then through the show, eventually you find out more and more about who this is, and usually by about halfway to 2/3 of the way through the podcast, you start going, who is this guy? And then you Google it, and it turns out it's somebody that's really important, you know, that's really cool. And Joe never even introduces him. It's really weird, but I like it. Anyway, I'm cruising to the W to the ERK, just did a nice swim, and I'm really digging the sweet spot polarized intervals. Go hard when hard, go easy when easy, lots of rest in between, and man, it's really cool stuff. It's so different and so deep with what it does to you, you know. Today in the swim, because I was going super easy between my intervals, I was actually able to talk to a few people about stuff, because it doesn't really matter if I was swimming or if I was just walking and talking, you know, just kind of cruising along. And then I get about 4 or 5 minutes between intervals, and then I go, okay, well, cool, I got to do an interval, bye, you know, and then boom, 8 minutes. And then 4x8 is what I was doing in the pool, and 4x8 is what I did last night on the bike, and it's working. My power numbers are up. I feel fantastic doing it, And what's interesting is you do, if you're doing this, you do 8 minutes, an 8-minute interval. It's pretty long. And then as you get further and further into it, you go, oh man, I was going too hard in the beginning, you know, and then the next interval you do, you kind of go a little bit easier, and then or you get towards the end and you're like, man, I got a little bit of extra in the tank, you know, I can use that up. And 8 minutes is long, man. And then man, I need something to eat. I gotta keep eating. Amarita bars for the win. And hold on. I'm cruising along and really feeling like in a race, because you're doing these 8 minutes of sustained, and they get a little bit harder towards the end. It really teaches you how to pace yourself, you know. So I'm sitting there thinking, man, in a race, I would really know, you know, how hard to go, and because of doing these intervals. There's a problem when you just do long and slow all the time, where when you get into a race, you go too hard because you don't have any practice going hard. So you don't know that going as hard as you're going is going to burn you up, you know. So from practice doing 8-minute long intervals, you're like, man, if I keep this up, I'm going to blow up, you know, because I don't even go this hard in an 8-minute long interval, and I towards the end of 8-minute long interval, I'm pretty cooked, you know. So I should probably slow down. It's really good stuff. Looks like we are going to Tennessee. Oh, I absolutely love the lake house. It's a wonderful place. I just hate the drive, man. I wish it was closer. I'd go all the time. Anyway, I think that's it. I need a cup of coffee. All right, out, bang. All right, I'm at the house, ZenTri Studios, and I just let the dogs in, and I was also listening to a Zen talk by Jack Kornfield, who is really quite the amazing Zen spokesperson. But I don't want to start talking and have Emily walk in, because I'll get all distracted. Let me make sure she hasn't just pulled up. Oh, she's here. I'll come back in a minute. Out. Woo! I'm on the bike. Oh, man. Okay, back to what I was saying. I was just doing intervals on the bike. Oh, so good. I'll tell you about those in a minute. Something that bit me on my arm. There goes it. My arrow bottle on the front of my bike is what's banging around when you hear a rattle sound. That sound right there. Anyway. Whew. Okay. So, composure. What's his face? Jack Kornfield was talking about composure and enlightenment. Well, he was talking about an enlightenment, and I was letting these two dogs in, two very different dogs, and then my very different cat, right? Different in his own weird way. But Jack was saying nirvana is nothing more than having composure in difficult situations. Well, in any situation. Oh, there's a snake. And then later in the show, later in the recording, he was talking about having knowing yourself. You know, wisdom comes from really knowing yourself and your capabilities and such. And then
And he didn't put 2 and 2 together. He's already put 2 and 2 together. He doesn't need me to put 2 and 2 together. But basically what was going on is I put together hold on, we got to slow down. I'll get to it eventually. I'm gonna have to stop here. And now we can go. Sorry, intersection. Hey, this is what it's really like bike riding, you know? So, when you know yourself really, really well, and your capabilities, and what you're good at, and what you're bad at, tree frogs, squirrel, then you can have composure in any situation, right? And so I'm good at some things and I'm bad at other things, and as I get wiser, as I get older, I realize, you know, what to do, when to do what, and what to get involved with, and what to stay away from. I notice it more and more. And then, because I know myself, I can have composure in difficult situations, because I can put myself in a difficult situation that I know I can handle because I know myself. Or if I'm in a difficult situation that I can't handle, I can either say, I don't know what I'm doing, and defer it to somebody else and say, anybody else here know how to fly this plane? Because I cannot land it. Now, once we hit water, and people might need help swimming, I might be able to help you out with that. But until then, anybody else here a pilot? That's not my area. And with all that, but it's being able to say that you're not good at something, you know, and looking for somebody else to take it over, or just simply say, hey, I'm not good at this. I'm going to have to learn while I'm doing this, or I'm not going to try very hard while doing this because I'm not interested in this. And so I hope everybody's aware of that. And I'm not really interested in trying too hard or trying to impress anybody. You know what I mean? And we are very different with very, very different capabilities. And it's burned into us where there's some things we can change and work on, for sure. And then there's some things that we're just kind of stuck with. Hold on, I got some cars behind me. They're going to be mad when they see I'm talking on my phone. Doesn't really matter, though. So I'm letting these 2 dogs in the house while I'm listening to this. One is awesome at super fast speed. And the other one is awesome at just slower speed, but doing stuff all day. The super fast dog can't do stuff for very long. And not only is this, you know, probably, but you can look it up in a book on breeds, what they do. And neither one of them can climb a tree and stick claws out of their front paws. But I do have an animal that is good at that, you know? And dogs don't have much of an ego, and get their feelings hurt. Some do. Depends on the breed. And so you can tell they enjoy doing what they're good at, and if they're not good at something and don't enjoy it, they're not that into it. It's pretty cool. Because people always talking about dogs being little Buddhas or enlightened animals. You know, they're just always happy. They're in nirvana, right?
So over time, get to know yourself and get to know your capabilities. And then know when you're good at a situation and have composure. And then know when you're bad at a situation and you can still have composure. Because now you can say, I'm not good at this situation. There's some situations where you're not supposed to have composure. You know, you can freak out. Riding a roller coaster, it's a freak out session. You can actually pay money to be experiencing being out of control. You can say, I'm totally composed and in control of being out of control. It's the way it's supposed to be, and I like it, and it's okay. But the whole point of all this stuff is to help you have yourself kind of squared away so that you can both help yourself when you need help because you're more composed, and you can help others when they need help. You know, you can be that person that while somebody's freaking out, that grabs them by the shirt collar and shakes them. Wake up, dude, wake up. Come on, we need you to be in control because you're in control of yourself. That's it. Okay, 1 hour ride. Mixed in longer intervals this time. And felt really, really good. Really good. Good numbers. Bike power's going up. And I found that eating ice cream after a strong workout was really, really nice. And then helps me recover better. Helps me cool down and recover better. And then, what was the other thing? Also, 5 to 10 minutes of going easy after you're done with the interval stuff seems to help recovery better so that you get back on it. All right, I think that's going to be the end of this episode. Always have more interviews being lined up, things coming up. Got some supplements I'm going to probably try here pretty soon, and we'll see how that goes. I'll do that live on the air for upcoming episodes. It's really hot here in the northern hemisphere, so everybody stay safe out there. If you're down south, keep cool, keep warm in the cold down there in Oz and New Zealand, and I guess South Africa, South America, and I think that's it, man. Wow, this has been a good episode. Okay, everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, keep the rubber side down. Out.